In 2018, a study conducted by Burning Glass Technologies and Strata Education Network, it was discovered that on average, approximately 43% of college graduates who obtain a bachelor's degree suffered from unemployment soon after graduating. While this data of unemployment does vary with the field the bachelor's degree is in, the problem does not lie with the competitive nature of that field, but rather the mindset the graduate has when entering the workforce for the first time. What these graduates who used to be students like me and my peers need are growth mindsets. Being hardworking, determined, taking risks, and knowing that you are in control are all traits that are aligned with a growth mindset. But just knowing what a growth mindset is not enough to help students to allow them to succeed in the harsh and cruel society we live in. I have a question for everyone watching at home. Now that you have a rough idea of what a growth mindset is, can you name the ways that your school has prepared you with a growth mindset for the problems that we face in the real world? I bet you can't. So how do we expect the future generation to form an answer as well? The reason why not everyone knows how to put a growth mindset into use is because of the flawed system schools run by. Schools are not helping students form a growth mindset that will help them be successful in society. Rather, schools completely overlook growth mindsets or they briefly teach the students about them, telling the students that with a growth mindset, they can be successful in any aspect. While this statement is not entirely incorrect, just talking about a growth mindset is not enough information to instill a functioning one in them. You may ask, what's the importance of this and why is this a problem? Before we get into the evaluation of why this is a problem and its importance, let's reiterate with more detail what a growth mindset is. The concept of a growth mindset was first introduced by American psychologist Carol Dweck. She is the Lewis and Virginia Eaton Professor of Psychology at Stanford University and the author of Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. Dr. Dweck defines a growth mindset as when individuals believe their talents can be developed and through hard work, effort, good strategies, and input from others makes them stronger. This is important because growth mindsets will allow students to succeed in anything they do in the future. Without a growth mindset, one might face a problem, fail, and give up, or even be afraid to take risks, which, be honest, we're all guilty of doing once in our life. But with a growth mindset, you won't be afraid of taking risk and failing because you know that you could use this failure to take a different approach and advance further than you initially were. Now that we have a specific problem, let's get into how we can solve it. One possible solution to this problem is instructing teachers to teach students about growth mindsets in their classes and demonstrate through examples how to implement them in any environment so that the students are prepared to use their school-developed growth mindsets in society. While this is a simple and quick solution, not all schools have the leisure to include lessons of growth mindsets into their core classes, as some of them are focused on certain exams such as Regents or AP exams. This is why I propose that we add Foundations of Leadership to their curriculum. What is Foundational Leadership, or FOL, you ask? Like the name implies, it is a class offered here at BrooklynLab, in which students are given both tools and taught the traits that make leaders and are taught how to implement them in society to make them leaders. An example of one trait that makes up a leader is a growth mindset. Great leaders all have one of these, and they are great because they can use their growth mindset to tackle problems they are faced with. In foundational leadership, teachers can provide students with examples of leaders in society and how they got into the position in order for the students to see how a growth mindset will help someone be successful. Then, the teacher will put students through scenarios that mimic society and the events that they may face. The scenario would have to be made to fail the students. While this may confuse a lot of people, they may say something along the lines of, why would you give something to the students you know they cannot handle, or why are you setting them up for failure? For those with a growth mindset, failure becomes the basis for future success. In the foundational leadership class, students will be given the opportunity to fail, try something difficult, and fail miserably. The measure of success will not be whether they've mastered the content or applied some specific set of skills, but whether they could use their creativity and growth mindsets to problem solve and to find a solution to help them through their failures. An example of a project that students would do in this class is they're running a community service project to help provide for the needy and make the community safer. But then abruptly, the group budget gets cut. The students at first will not have a solution to this problem and will feel stuck and hopeless. But with a growth mindset, students will realize just because their initial path has been blocked off, it does not mean they cannot take another path. For example, then students could either start a fundraiser or raise awareness for what they are doing in the community to gain donations as a solution to their budget being cut. This is just one of the many ways that foundations of leadership teachers can provide their students with lessons on how a growth mindset can help them succeed. Another way that schools can help provide students with growth mindsets is through internships and giving students positions of power in school that affect others. These positions and jobs will give students responsibility and also provide them with a space in which they'll be able to learn essential skills on how their actions impact others. In these jobs and positions, students might have the tendency to fail or meet a certain standard, whether that is because of ignorance or lack of experience. This risk schools take with the students provides the opportunity to push them to be more successful when tackling unique challenges. By giving students internships and jobs, this will allow students to get first-hand experience in the workforce. With the experience, students will have developed their own growth mindsets and might even further them than just learning about one in class. This is a result of the everyday challenges that people in the workforce face frequently, forcing students to come up with solutions to these unique problems they have not faced before. This growth mindset that the students will develop through foundations of leadership and the experience they receive through their internships will help students with getting a job. Students need experience and a strong growth mindset to be successful in the job market now more than ever. With the COVID-19 pandemic, jobs are becoming more harder and harder to find. In April, the unemployment rate was as high as 14.7%. This is just an example of how difficult getting a job has become as a result of the pandemic. Allowing students to receive internships soon after they develop a somewhat growth mindset will enable them to put theory into practice by providing them with useful experiences that will boost in personal and social effectiveness. In a journal written by Nick Ellis, a professor of marketing management at Durham University, titled Developing Graduate Sales Professionals Through Cooperative Education and Work Placements, a Relationship Marketing Approach, recorded that students reported an enhancement in their personal skills from participating, such as time management, verbal communication, and self-confidence. All these personal skills are things that employers look for and will help students be successful in the job market, even with COVID-19. My suggestion is that schools add foundations of leadership as a class, and schools should take more risk with students by providing them with internships and positions of power that affect others. This will boost student and graduate success in all aspects by reinforcing their skills as a leader through a strong growth mindset, making it crucial for students who plan to enter the workforce to have developed one that will allow them to adapt and solve unique problems they will face in the harsh society of today. While this change to the school systems may seem difficult, it is a necessary one. To prepare students for the harshness of society and for them to have the confidence that they can succeed because of the growth mindset they have is what I hope to see in the near future. Thank you.